Yeah. Okay. So in the first question, there were two parts. So less than 5 and greater than 5, that criteria. So there was part A and part B. And in part A, I'll just share my screen. Just a second. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you all were supposed to make these equations, which was using these equations, you were supposed to solve the Gauss elimination, solve using Gauss elimination. So there was 1 mark to make the correct equations. If you have written these correct equations, you'll get 1 mark. Then you were supposed to do the pivoting, like uh, this order is mentioned here. You were supposed to, after, like, there could be any order, like you could have solved, you could have balanced the atoms in any order, but afterwards you were supposed to do the pivoting. So there were 2 marks for pivoting, and then for solving this and making the upper triangular matrix, there were 15 marks total. So since this was a big calculation question, so there were 15 marks allotted for the calculation. And then in the end, there were like 2 equations which were not independent. So here, these 2 equations, minus 1 by 3 and 1 by 3, it could be in any form. Like it was in some people's copies I'd seen it was minus 1, 1 and 3 and 3, 3 and minus 3 kind. But it would depend on your steps, but it doesn't matter. In the end, the form would be of this. It would be of this form only. So you were supposed to mention that these 2 equations are not independent, and we cannot carry forward the calculations. But some of you like subtracted these 2 equations, and there was like the last row was 0 0 0, and you proceeded with the back substitution method. So even if you've proceeded with the back substitution, I've given marks, but I've deducted 2 marks. 2 marks were for this explanation. You were supposed to mention that these 2 equations are not the same. So 2 marks were for this, and then finally 5 marks were given for solving these equations and getting the correct answer. So this was the correct answer. Your variables could be anything, but you could have taken, like some people have taken X, Y, Z, but this was the correct answer. And yeah, that was it. So 5 marks for calculating the correct values, 2 marks for mentioning that these 2 equations are not independent, 15 marks for the whole calculation, the Gauss elimination, etc. And 2 marks for pivoting, 1 mark for setting up the correct equations. So that was the distribution for 1A. Now for 1B, maybe Mohit sir can explain.
Yeah. Let me share my screen. Okay. I hope you can see my screen. In the 1B, you had this is the paper, right? In the 1B, you had a complex equation, actually complex equation is given and you had to find the solution of the two complex numbers. And okay, so the first part is just to write the complex equation and acknowledge that you need to find the uh, solution of the equations. And right, so in this question, in this particular solution, it is done using separating the complex part and the real part. Here you can see that ax minus by equals u and bx plus ay equals v is also written. So here they are separating the real part and the complex part, and then they have uh, made the matrix which you need to solve. Okay, so for this part, to just write the matrix, you had 7 marks. Okay, then you had to do the Gauss elimination or Gauss Jordan, whatever you want, and you need to find the upper triangular matrix or the identity matrix, anything. And you, for this part, you had 10 marks. And then applying back substitution here, you can find all the 4 variables, right? So here you can see that if we divide it between real and complex, we have 4 variables. But some people have also done in the complex form itself. So they have just written this given equation, and they have proceeded with the Gauss elimination or Gauss Jordan, whatever they felt best. And so I have given marks for that also, so that I have been very lenient here. But a few people have done this way. So in the remarks you can see that I have particularly mentioned that this was the perfect answer which was written. So you can just, if you have some doubts, you can check out the remarks and find out which people have written perfectly, and then you can tally with your you can clear out your doubts from that as well. Otherwise, I've been lenient and I have given marks who have done using the complex way also, so it's not wrong, so it's also fine. But wherever you lose marks, I have mentioned it quite clearly. You may have done the back substitution incorrectly. You may have got the matrix after Gauss elimination incorrect, right? Or you may not have done the Gauss elimination or Gauss Jordan part. You just did the back substitution using these two variables. Since there are only two variables, uh, many people have done just solved it by hand. So that's where you have lost marks, if you have lost any mark. Okay, so this is kind of very simple one. uh, that is it, so we can move on to the next question.
So hello guys, now I'll explain second question. So just wait a minute, let me share my screen. Are you all able to see my screen? Just respond. One of the TR students.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll start with first question first. So that is fixed point iteration. The question was fairly straightforward. The function was given 2 sine under root x minus x, and we had to find the root of that. So here you can see like what is the function is and what its root are. So one of the root is quite trivial, that is 0, and another root is near 2, that turns out to be around 1.972. uh, so what you had to do in fixed point iteration is basically you had to develop a function called gx, and gx such that xi plus 1 is equals to gxi, and then you have to repeatedly iterate, and the initial guess as given in the question had to be taken to be 0.5. Right. So after that, the question was fairly straightforward. So for the function, if you have written the function correctly, gxi, that is 2 sine under root x, uh, you have been given 2 marks for that. And if you have uh, taken out the calculations and of the iterations correctly, you have been given 13 marks, full 13 marks. Now I have not written any comments in that sheet, the mark sheet. So I'll explain how I have given marks. So uh, I have not deducted marks for very minor mistakes, and uh, I've been lenient with that. But three broad categories I found in which students did their uh, did this question. So one was this only, that they have gotten full marks, 2 plus 13. They have done everything correctly. So second was that some people have taken xi to be in inches. So that was clearly a big blunder. Even if you have written that you are taking it in inches, that does not make any sense. You have to take it in radians. Xi to be in radians, because you are representing on number line, not on some circular scale, so that you can write on inches. And by default in mathematics, and for that matter in every field of physics or science, you have to take it in radians only, and not never in inches. So but I have been lenient with that also, and I have given 8 marks, given that you have carried out calculation correctly. So I have given 2 plus 8 for that, because you have written the function correctly, and but you have mistaken that you have by taking xi to be in inches. So your answers differs from here very significantly, but I have deducted like less marks for that. Only 5 marks for deducted for that. Okay. So next, what kind of mistake was there? Wrong fx was taken. So that was to be taken very seriously. So straightforward zero in function. Like what was the function that people took wrongly was 2 sine under root x minus x. Not 2 sine under root x. Like they took fx and gx to be equal. That was not to be done. So uh, full marks deducted for that. So 0 plus, and once you have taken a wrong fx, your question cannot be correct. You should get 0 for that. But I have been lenient for for that matter, and I have given you 5 marks for carrying out correct calculations only. Okay, so these are the major categories. Some deviations are there, maybe 2 or 3. So uh, because your calculation were slightly wrong, so I deducted 1 or 2 marks for that, and mostly people have got 5, 10, 5, 10, 15 marks, and those who have not attempted have of course got 0 in this question. So I hope I am clear with this part of the question. So yeah, if anyone have any doubt, please ask me right now, that if you are not convinced what have you have been awarded. uh, okay. And also do write in the query form, that we will see later. So second part of this problem was Newton-Raphson. Newton-Raphson, the same problem was there, but initial guess to be taken was different. Like here it was 0.5 and here it was 1.5, and function was given and you had to find the derivative. So 2 marks for finding the derivative, and 1 mark for writing this Newton-Raphson equation, like basic iteration equation, xi plus 1 equals to xi minus fxi divided by f dash xi, and then carrying out the iterations correctly fetch you 12 marks. Uh, and in this again, some marking has been done. So Mansi, would you like to add more
Yes,
on how marking has been done?
yes, Abhishek, I will explain you. There were in some of the students' note copies I have seen that like the last two iterations were not done correctly. Maybe get some calculation error, or maybe, I mean, there could be some other reasons too. because like the fourth iteration was wrong, but the fifth iteration was right, and there was a quite a significant difference in the values. Okay, so for in these cases, I have deducted marks for both the last two iterations, like both fourth and fifth. And since the total marks is 12 for five iterations, so you can take like 2.4 marks per iteration if you have done it correctly. And in terms of the decimal, I have been very lenient here. But if the deviation was quite large, like if it's like 1.97 is written here, but you're getting something in 2 and like 2 or 2 plus or less than 1, so I have deducted marks here too. But if you feel that your answer was quite close to the correct answer, you can raise a query on the form. Rest, I think marking is clear. Okay.
Thank you,
Click on
Mansi. I think we can move to next question.
Hello. I'll just present my screen. Abhishek, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, so this is the third question. So for the parts, I was the one who was correcting it. So first of all, I just explained you the marking scheme. So 1 mark was for linearization. So the linearization was very simple. You just have to take square root on both the sides, and then you will get root x as one and root y as one of the variables, and 1 by root x as other variable. Then you can take a by b as m and 1 by a as c, and you can do that. Anyone who has done ln or have squared it out, you won't be getting marks. The linearization was done in that way. Then the 5 marks was to get the values of a and b. So these are the a and b values which I'm talking about. So if anyone has kept it till here and left it out, so the person will be getting less than 1 mark. So the person will be getting 4 marks for it. And if anyone was actually very near to the values, but it was not the exact values, will be getting 3 marks. And for 1.5 marks for the exact value for y at this point, if the values are very close, I've given 1 mark, and if the values are a bit close, I've given 0.5 marks accordingly. For the r square, I've been very lenient. So if anyone has write down this formula, I've given 0.5 marks. If anyone has done a calculation of ST, SR, and ST, even the values, final values getting wrong, I've given 1 mark in total, 1.5 marks, depending on if you have found out ST and SR out. And if anyone has got a value between 0.99 and 1, the person has got a full marks for the R square value for the 2.5. Now, just to tell you some of the queries, and it is the same for both the cases, so I won't be explaining this part. Actually, the answers are also same, as you can see. Just these things are changing. So I'll just explain for this. So some of the things which I've done, and I've been very, very lenient in this thing. So linearization is very simple. If anyone even has done wrong linearization, but has actually created this table and calculated even with the wrong values, I've given 1 mark for that. And if the person has got 1 or 2 values correct and some wrong, I've given 2 marks. If the person has got almost all correct values here, but are getting wrong A, B because they have put in the wrong formula here, I've given 3 marks. And in this case, and 4 marks, I've already told that if a person is getting these values and I'm not calculated these one, I've given marks accordingly. So for the y, I've already told. For the this part, I've already told marks, and this part also. So if anyone has even I've given 0.5 marks just for writing the formula I initially mentioned. Yes. Yeah. So anyone has any doubt, please tell me. Okay, I guess Abhishek, we should end it, right?
Yes. If no one have any doubt, then we should end it.
Yes, before we end, regarding the marks of assignments, I think 3 of the assignments are totally checked and 4 is halfway checked. So we'll be releasing the assignment marks probably by tonight, 4 assignments, and After that, you can fill your queries. Some people were asking that we have not released the assignment, so we'll be releasing by tonight.
And also regarding quiz 3, many were asking about the numerical questions. So the answers should be in the range of plus minus 0.01 tolerance. So if that's the case, the person has already got marks because Moodle automatically corrects it. If the person has not done that, the person hasn't got any marks. Okay, so I guess that would be it. Anyone has any doubt regarding minor assignment or quiz? So I guess we should end it. Thank you so much for attending this session.
Thank you.